Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So in today's video, we're going to be going over a recent proposal. Well, this was actually proposed all the way back in 2021, but it's being brought back to the forefront by Ilhan Omar. It's a proposal that would send Americans $1,200 stimulus checks every single month, sort of a UBI program. We'll be going over that. And also, a recent inflation report was released yesterday, so we're going to be going over that report and where we can expect inflation to go from here. Now, before I dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. And also, if you would like to receive some free stocks from my partners in Webull and Moomoo, I will go ahead and leave links in the description box below where you can receive them if you're interested. Okay, so the inflation report was released yesterday. This was from back in March, and it showed that month over month inflation once again rose by 0.1%. That was the CPI. The core CPI, which excludes like food and energy prices, actually rose by 0.4%. So year over year, CPI is now at 5%. So inflation is still pretty high, much higher than the Fed's 2% target. But according to CNN, U.S. inflation falls to lowest level since May of 2021. Annual inflation, as measured by the Consumer Price Index, dropped in March for the 9th consecutive month. And for the first time since September 2020, grocery prices fell on a monthly basis. Prices rose 5% for the 12 months ended in March, down from 6% in February, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported Wednesday. Annual CPI plunged to its lowest rate since May 2021, helped by year-over-year comparisons to a period when food and energy prices spiked amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Still, CPI showed some cooling on a monthly basis. The index, which measures price changes over time for a basket of goods, ticked up 0.1% from February as compared to a previous 0.4% increase. Shelter costs, which tend to reflect lagging data, were the largest contributor of the monthly gain, offsetting sharp declines across energy categories, according to the BLS. And according to a tweet from Jackie Kokievich, another month of high inflation under President Biden. So CPI was up 5% year over year, and leading that was, of course, electricity at 10.2%, natural gas up 5.5%, groceries up 8.4% year over year, eggs up 36%, dairy up 10.7%. So in the comment section below, where do you see prices are much higher than 1 year before? And are you seeing prices continuing to increase where you're at? Where I'm at, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, gas prices are once again over $3.50. So gas prices are once again, unfortunately, beginning to rise. Hopefully we can get that back down to closer to the $2 mark, but we will just have to wait and see. All in all, though, at least according to these numbers, inflation has come down a little bit. But also, we have to consider that the Federal Reserve considers that 2% is actually the normal rate of inflation. So who knows how long that's going to take to get from 5% all the way down to 2%. And according to economist Tyler Godspeed, he would be surprised if we actually got down to that 2% number without more things breaking. Watch.
All throughout, I've been looking at measures of core or underlying inflation. That's trimmed mean, that's weighted median, that's core CPI, that's sticky CPI, and all of those measures are pointing to an inflation problem that's still in the neighborhood of 4.5% to 5%. When you look at wage inflation, that's looking like it's in the 4.5% to 5% range, which is probably why we're seeing so much sticky services inflation. And when you look at inflation expectations, the New York Fed survey was out yesterday. That looks like inflation expectations are still stuck in the sort of 4.5% to 5% range. And none of those measures have really decelerated much over the past 3 to 6 months. So I think it's still a pretty durable problem for the Fed. And I would be surprised if we don't. I was surprised if we got back to 2% without more things breaking.
So things aren't necessarily getting that much better for the economy right now. And according to a recent Gallup poll, 83% of Americans are describing our current economic conditions as only fair or poor. And according to CNBC, 70% of Americans are feeling financially stressed, and 58% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. And a recent CNN poll showed that 62% of Americans disapprove of Biden's handling of the economy. 32% of Americans say he deserves to be reelected. Now, I am definitely interested in hearing your thoughts and comments below. How do you see the economy right now? Is inflation beginning to pinch you? And what do you believe needs to happen? Should we begin looking at the possibility of sending out a fourth stimulus check? Would that help you? Maybe something more targeted specifically to those people on fixed incomes such as Social Security, or perhaps even recurring ones. Well, according to Go Banking Rates just from a couple days ago, a new proposal could give Americans monthly $1,200 stimulus checks. So in an April 9th op-ed, Representative Ilhan Omar voiced her opinion on supporting two proposals which could benefit millions of American families. The first would provide an income floor for everyone in the face of inequality. Meanwhile, the second proposal would make the expanded child tax credit permanent. First, Omar said she will keep pushing for measures such as guaranteed income through legislative proposals like the Support Act. The Support Act would ostensibly send $1,200 per month to every adult and $600 per month to every child through local governments via cash payments over a 5-year period. She said, quote, "This bill builds on successful guaranteed income pilot programs we have seen in localities nationwide, including in Minneapolis and St. Paul. And of course, the End Child Poverty Act could be an alternative. So in addition, Omar, along with Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Jesus Garcia, reintroduced the End Child Poverty Act, which would replace the CTC and the child provisions in the Earned Income Tax Credit with a universal child benefit, according to a statement. The three lawmakers said in an April 6th announcement that on the federal level, this program would be universal and include no income phase-ins or phase-outs. Children would be automatically enrolled at birth, and every family would receive a monthly payment distributed by the Social Security Administration for every child they are currently caring for up until the age of 18. Now, I will say that a lot of people are blaming stimulus checks for all this inflation that's taking place. Of course, they're not looking at other things such as the Paycheck Protection Program, which also sent billions of dollars out to businesses, people who probably didn't need that money during that time. So the government wasted a lot of money going to people who were already pretty well financially off. So they're not looking at those, they're blaming stimulus checks instead. So with that said, the chances of a stimulus check going out, let's say like in the next month or two, are actually very, very low. However, according to a lot of economists, and the economist that I mentioned in today's video that we saw a video of, Tyler Godspeed, he says that he sees a lot of things breaking before we get back down to the 2% inflation rate. So if things do break, aka we end up in some type of very bad recession, we've already seen one recession, which has always been defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. We already saw that, but then they went ahead and changed their definition of what a recession is. But if we see that once again and things start getting very, very bad, I could definitely see a fourth stimulus check, because in other recessions throughout our history, we have used a stimulus check as some sort of resource to sort of kickstart the economy once again. So I do believe there is a pretty good possibility for another stimulus check to get sent out. Now, with this proposal, the Support Act of, monthly stimulus checks of $1,200 going out, is that something that's probably all that realistic at this point in time? I would have to say no. However, again, if we do end up in a pretty bad recession, which is definitely very, very possible, I mean, according to numerous economists, the chances of ending up in another recession is pretty high. If we do, I would say there is definitely a pretty good possibility of a fourth stimulus check. But again, I am definitely interested in hearing your thoughts and comments below. So let me know, would a fourth stimulus check help you in your current position? But that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.